Okay. All right. Chairman Updegrove,
Here.
Mr. DiPaolo,
Here.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Then we have legislator McKinney with us.
Here.
And that's it.
Okay, motion to approve the November 13th meeting minutes. Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. McKinney. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, financial report.
So I do have to say that the financials that I sent you with the packets went till December 31st because I did not have the books flipped yet into the new year. But I was able to get that completed this week, so I wanted to provide you with more updated numbers. So what you have here in the beginning is the ARPA money. What's left is the $2,700.69. I have a couple more things that I need to purchase. So that money is dwindling down pretty quickly. It'll be spent fairly soon. And your trial balance for that account. So then the next one has a lot of activity because we haven't, you haven't received a report since November 15th. So this is the financial activity from November 15th to yesterday of December 22nd. So the balance in that checking account is $213, $135.86. The next thing that you have there is the Phase 1 Operations Land Bank Grant Round 4. I've completed our first draw on that grant, and the balance on that grant is $119,305.58.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Where is, which one? Where is the Phase 1 round 4? That number I'm looking for.
Do you not have this one?
Yeah.
It's Phase 1 Round 4.
I was looking at the general electric trial balance.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And then, so the next two sheets that you have,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. Is Ms. Johnson on? Do you-
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, she's on.
So the Phase 1, so we're in round 4. When would round 5 start?
Well, I do have to say that, it would start in October of 2026.
Okay.
But I was on a Land Bank Association meeting last night, and as of right now, there's no money in the state budget to fund land banks at all.
Okay.
They do have a land bank legislative committee that is always advocating for the land banks, and they're hoping that something will happen before, I think, April 1st, it sounded like. They're trying to do something, but that also goes for our Phase 2 money as far as like capital improvements and stuff like that. The Phase 2 money has to all be spent and drawn down by November of 2026. And right now, there's no funding, so we're not taking any applications for anything else at this time.
Okay. Yeah, because I was asking about the Phase 1 money, because that's the money we can use for administrative expenses and
Correct.
salaries.
Yes,
So we have 119,000 left
correct.
through, in theory, October. So
Till
the
October.
state funds round 5, Phase 1 in April as part of the state budget.
I do have to say that we've asked to have that $150,000 number increased in our applications, but they've never let us increase it. They said that was your original amount, which was based on 3 years ago of what our expenses were, but they stuck with that dollar amount and wouldn't let us apply for any more. So it doesn't fully cover our operations, but
Right, no, that's why I was asking,
Yeah.
because we have decisions to make moving forward relative to the amount of activity that we're gonna undertake and the amount of engagement we're gonna be involved in with the, with the communities and rehabs, so. Well, I guess we'll know more in April.
so the next two sheets you have is the Phase 2 funding. And with that funding, it's been broken into 2 pots of money. You'll see at the top of the first one, it says SHARS ID 2023. That was our original Phase 2 money that they put an extension on and given us some additional funding. This money can be used for pre-development expenses, and we also had a little bit left over in property acquisition, stabilization, and demolition. The way to think of this money, the way it's been explained to us from HCR, is that this money here is a little more flexible, that it can be used for different things. It can still be used for capital improvements. It can be used for like the acquisitions and the things like that. Now, the second sheet that says up at the top, SHARS ID 2025, that is the new grant money, and that is strictly capital funding. And so you'll see the money that they gave us 1.405 million. And we haven't touched that capital money yet, for the reason being that even though we were ready to go with a couple roofing projects, we just got our execute agreement 2 days ago.
The
So
agreement for this money.
for this
Okay.
money,
So the 1.4 million and the 772,000, that all needs to be spent by November of this year.
correct, November of 2026.
Given our level of engagement with the Falls and Blue Cardinal properties, it shouldn't really be an issue, and we now own a property in the Falls, right?
Mhm.
2010.
There's also, as you'll see in there, is that home repair program that we've been discussing right along, which Rob, I need to talk to you after, please.
Okay,
But yeah, so the home repair program originally, because we were blazing the trail for other land banks.
Yeah.
I had done a procedures of how we were gonna run the program, and I sent it to them with the grant application. And they took that and tried to model it across all of land banks. And then they also stuck in their requirements. And at the time, because they thought it would be kind of like a pilot for them as well as us, they only gave us the $500,000. We told them that we would have liked $1 million for it, because we thought that we were gonna have such a high demand like we did for the facade, but they really just wanted us to start with the 500,000.
so how we,
I think our impression though was that they would let us move money around if we needed more money.
have we
Absolutely.
decided what the application process would be, what the limits are? Is it 5 years, and we distribute it evenly among municipalities, or is it first come, first served throughout, as long as you're in the county?
Well,
What was-
I think that we were going to do North Tonawanda and Lockport, where our two focuses, where they were gonna be. We haven't decided. I said I would be okay with doing 250,000 per municipality for each of those. It's gonna be small, it'll be like 10 per municipality. But if we have more money
10,000
left over
per
that's not spent,
Townhouse.
20,000.
10 houses, 20,000.
20,000, yeah.
The building inspector for Lockport did reach out to me. Have you touched base with him?
I have not touched base with him yet. My goal is I want to talk to Rob too today,
Okay,
is to possibly set up a meeting with the two building inspectors for them to tell me what it is that they're gonna need from us and what we need from them, so we could sit down before we do any applications or policies and procedures or anything for the application process, that I have everything in place from them.
okay.
The plan is to reach out and set up a meeting.
Hey, Lynn Johnson, have you, did you see my email from yesterday regarding the property that you had inquired about?
I did,
Okay,
and Rick, I sent that on to Kathy Bogan, and she's going to reply to you.
okay. I'm
I
in
thought
all
it was,
day. As soon as, when this meeting's over, I'm back to the office. I'll be in all day if she wants to reach out to me.
I appreciate that,
Okay,
Rick.
no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
So the next sheet that you have, more user-friendly, instead of just having all the properties just listed down the line. So the project commitment log, you'll see I broke it down to what's in progress, what's completed, and on the back is completed demolition and properties that have been sold. So right now, what we're dealing with is the properties that are up on the top, which are the ones that are in progress, and the rest obviously are done. It tells you where each of those properties stands and what our plan is for those properties.
This has got to be riveting for anybody watching it at home. But I want to take a second. I've looked at this, but I know I had a question and I'm trying to recall what it was.
Remember what it was?
Oh, and we wouldn't know this. So Griswold is where the emergency communications tower is going for the county. That's
correct.
still in progress.
Yes, so the status on that one, and I didn't have a chance to do it yesterday, but today I have a note that I want to reach out to the demolition firm that's working on it, because they had put in for a permit to do the project with the town of Middleport, but apparently the town of Middleport only works 1 day a week, and they've been waiting for their permit approval. So that's where that stood.
Okay,
But I'm gonna call him. He was supposed to call me as soon as the project was done, or I even asked him to call me when it started, so that I knew that at least it's in process, and I haven't heard from him, so I'm gonna call to see where he's at. He's being held up right now. He's ready to go.
okay. All right, that was my only question.
Okay.
Chris, do you have any questions about any of the Niagara Falls properties that you?
No, not at this time.
Okay. But I think part of our agenda, are we gonna go over,
Yeah, and the project
an
update?
Project update, yeah.
Yeah, there's some stuff down there.
All right. So is that the end of the financial report?
It is.
No, when we were sitting there looking at it, I was thinking about that Seinfeld episode where Kramer decided to do the talk show out of his apartment, and then he would just take a break, and just sit, drink some water. Yeah, oh, the Merv Griffin, he got the scent out of the dumpster, right? I told you, there's a Seinfeld for everything. We did not take action on the, I know there was an email that was sent around and I didn't see any responses, but I figured since we had a meeting today, I didn't really need to follow up on that, so.
Morgan from the city of Niagara Falls and Rob responded. Those were the only two responses I received that said they voted yes for the two property. It was for Whitney and Pierce. I mean, I can,
Wait, where's Pierce?
it's not on the agenda, but it was on the email.
I got you.
So Whitney, I had a good discussion with that gentleman yesterday. So his purchase price is $36,000, $4,000 deposit. He is going to be investing $105,000, redevelop it and sell it. He has proof of funds, he has experience, and him and I, so we discussed it because he didn't understand the development enforcement mortgage. And then once I explained it to him, he's actually considering to do like additional properties. But anyways, I think he's, seemed like a qualified buyer.
The development enforcement mortgage that will, once the property is rehabilitated and it's sold, and then the mortgage would go, it would extinguish at that point
That's
to allow
correct.
the transfer of the property. As long
That's
as he's
correct.
done what he needs to do.
That's correct.
And then, and we have a final, because a lot of in the past, the houses that we've dealt with were people that were planning on residing in them, but we've obviously expanded it, because there's some properties that you just have a hard time.
I don't think, well, what you're saying is true in, I think, other, like Lockport in North Tonawanda and some in Niagara Falls, we've been successful in that. But I think that the problem seems to be much larger in the city of Niagara Falls. So,
Yeah, we've opened up the scope of what the mission really was, because it still serves a purpose in Niagara Falls, even if he's selling the house. If he's fixing the house, putting it in money. But my question was, how do we know, do we have a final inspection? In other words, how do we know that he's that we both agree that this is what is complete? It's his idea of complete. I don't mean him personally, but just in general.
Yeah.
That the person who is selling the property, their idea of complete may be a lot different than our idea of complete, and what parameters do we give them? So when we talk about the enforcement mortgage, do we give them some sort of parameters? Is it written? And I don't recall that says, look, it has to be, you have to be able to pass a building inspection.
yeah, the parameters are, we reference attachment A, which is their plan. So the lien is for the level of investment that they have, pledged to put into the property. and the timeline that they provided to us. So permits are pulled to do a lot of this work. So we had a conversation with the building inspector who ultimately is gonna sign off on, stuff that's like safety. Like, we wouldn't know anything about that, right? We would just walk through to see, okay, this is done and it looks nice, because we don't have the level of expertise to, you know what I mean, if we lean on the building inspector to
Right,
kind
and then
of,
once the building
look at that
inspector
stuff, yes.
provides that approval.
yes, yeah.
Okay. That's what I assumed, but, I just want to refresh my recollection about that. Okay. What was the other ones, Pierce? That was
So
on the email,
Pierce-
but not on the agenda.
Yes, that's my fault, sorry.
That's all right, I took a look at it already,
was-
but you can.
Yeah, it was a $35,000 purchase price, $3,500 deposit, renovate, operate as a rental. They provided proof of funds, a plan, and their experience, and the development enforcement mortgage was provided.
Okay. I will move both of those, second by Mr. McKinney. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. And so the Empire State Development Grant Award acceptance, is that the Rapids Theater? Is that the one we're talking about? Was that grant just, or how did that grant come about? Is it just for the Rapids Theater?
That's correct,
All right, what was and the source is Empire State Development?
that's correct.
And who was it that applied? Did the land bank apply for that grant?
Yes. There was a coordinated effort between the municipalities for Main Street for CFA applications. The city applied for student housing.
The city applied for student housing, and this was part of that application.
No, they did a separate application, and they asked us to apply for the Rapids Theater.
Oh.
The housing's on a separate property across the street.
Not across the street, down the street.
What program, is there a program for the money for the Rapids Theater? And I'm not asking because it changes anything we're doing, I was just curious.
I don't, what do you mean?
Is this part of the CFA?
Yes,
Okay.
that is, yeah. And so our thought process behind this, and I think we've been successful at it, was that the grant would attract developers, and we've already seen that. So we've had a number of tours already. We've worked with the state. They a little bit different than what they normally do, because typically, I don't want to speak for them, but they want to see a developer in place. But this, so we're going to work, I guess what I'm getting at is that once the committee selects a developer, they will administer this grant. It's not like we're going to be administering it.
Okay.
So obviously, we'll be a pass-through, and we will be responsible for reporting and work closely, but we're not administering this grant.
So ESD will, so the developer will work directly with ESD?
Us and ESD, because the grant was to us. So the paperwork, so what they're reporting will come to us, and then we will send it into ESD. But it's not gonna be like as cumbersome as the the award, like the grants that we're working with now, that we're actually administering all the work. We're not doing all that.
How did the developers know that this grant is available? Is it on our website with the property?
As soon as it was announced, we started getting calls.
Oh, okay. How do they know?
It was in the
It
newspaper.
was in the newspaper.
Oh,
and,
I mean,
yeah.
as a story or as an ad,
Yeah,
It was a
notice in
story.
the back? It's
No,
actual
it's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since there was a story written about it, that kind of generated phone calls.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It did exactly what we
That's
wanted.
all.
it to
Okay,
do.
I was just wondering, how do we,
Yeah.
how do we reach the developers that would have the needs to redevelop Rapids and know about the grant? But I guess if they're reading the newspaper, then they would know. All right,
Rick, I was just saying, I think Buffalo Business First picked it
Yep.
up too.
okay, very good.
We didn't
We don't
get,
have to move to accept, this is just for informational purposes, right?
I-
We got the grant, it was already awarded.
The county process votes to accept grants, so I think that's why we put it down here. So I don't think it can hurt to vote to accept it.
All right, moved by Mr. McKinney, second by Mr. DiPaolo, all in favor? Okay.
we skipped number 5, workplace.
Oh, workplace, I'm sorry.
And that's actually Lockport, not North Tonawanda.
Oh,
No, it says Lockport.
No, on the sheet.
Oh, on the,
Oh.
on the agenda.
On
it's-
On the agenda, it
on the
says Lockport,
resolution, sorry about that.
All
I'm
right,
just trying to think where it works place.
I'll move that one second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Project update?
So Frederica Street is a demolition. I believe that on that one, we're waiting for environmental, before we can move forward with that. When I say environmental for our grant. Griswold, I think Jackie,
We already talked about that.
yeah, you know that one. Lowry,
Is that the school?
yes, so we're going there today. We received permission from the owner to get like a site assessment, like a cost for, redevelopment or potential redevelopment, and as well as a value assessment. Amy put that out to bid, and people are meeting at the school, like any contractors that want to go through are meeting there today at 2 p.m. Let's see, so 2255 Niagara Ave, Niagara Falls, a property donation. Jackie, do you want to take this one? I know you've spoken to the
Sure.
primary contact on this.
So I received a phone call from a gentleman whose sister owned this property, and he's now caring for his sister. So he called because, and he did not say where, but he found out that there's a possibility that the land bank might take the property as a donation. So it has $41,000 in back taxes with the city of Niagara Falls. Now the property, hang on one second, if this all goes well. The property, unfortunately, has been overrun with squatters. So there's debris. There's a ton of debris. So the city has condemned the property because they had to turn the water off, and the public services have been removed. And he said that they said the roof is leaking. We would have to change the locks to get into the property to see how bad it is, but I was hoping that Morgan would have been here because the building inspection department has been through that property. And they did secure it and they did condemn it. Of course, that's not going to work, right? Let's see. So it really is just basically a lot of debris. And they didn't think that there was a big hole in the that. Where we are right now kind of is that it may not be such a heavy lift to like quickly go in, clean up the property, and maybe patch the roof and try to get it into a developer's hands to take over this property. Maybe that gentleman will be interested. But we are working, Morgan was going to be reaching out to the mayor to see about forgiving the back taxes. And if not, possibly, sorry, this picture's sideways, looking for possibly working out an arrangement where maybe we would acquire the property, but we're not going to acquire it for $41,000. We're looking for possibly, getting maybe half the back taxes forgiven or something like that. So it's a brick structure. Unfortunately, the lady could not live alone anymore, so her
Well, we would need,
brother's taking care
this
of
is,
her.
I mean, the answer is obvious at this point. We're not doing anything until Niagara Falls tells us what they want to do.
What they want
And
to
then
do
we
with
would
the
consider,
taxes.
because we don't really know what we're even considering until we know what the position is of Niagara Falls relative to the back taxes. I mean, the most obvious question is why hasn't this property been moved onto the in-rem? Because
The
41,000
foreclosure, yeah,
multiple years of back taxes.
it is multiple years, correct.
So for some reason, this hasn't been moved into their interim auction. I don't know why.
Right.
I would need to know answers for that. And then what their thoughts are on the back taxes. My guess is that it wouldn't even be a negotiation. My position would be, if they haven't moved it in rem, I don't know why, but I would think that just waiving the taxes wouldn't be an issue. But, I don't know that for a fact. We need somebody from Niagara Falls to tell us that.
So the report that I got was the pics are from November when they put the condemned sign up. The ransacking was from squatters. Looks like a partial ceiling collapse. Could be from not having heat/temperature control. Nina from Code Enforcement, wasn't sure about the roof issues, so yes, it may be worth it to have our building inspector check it out. Like it may have good bones and you can fix other things. No promises on the city eliminating the tax debt, but I think if it needs to be cleaned out, roof, windows, the land bank could sell for the cost of the back taxes plus a profit. That was her thought, but I did email Morgan yesterday. I thought she would be coming today. And I did ask her to be prepared that the board would be asking her about what the mayor's position on this was, but she wasn't able to attend today, so.
So of that 41,000, obviously some of that's school district and county taxes too, no?
I believe that builds on their tax bill.
I mean, so we would also need the school district to waive taxes. And
Just the
county,
city.
Just the city.
The city can waive all
That's
three,
my
because
understanding.
they're
That's my
the
understanding.
foreclosing governmental unit.
Does the city have to pay the school district like the county has to pay the towns and school districts?
I think so.
Well, yeah, and that would be part of the agreement. We need to work that out. You see, because my understanding is when one of the FGUs forecloses, if there are monies from the sale of that property, that the back taxes are prorated among the municipalities that are owed money. That's my understanding. So, if there was a waiver, there obviously would have to be some understanding or agreement with the other municipalities. I don't know if that's an issue or not an issue, but that's what I'm getting at. There's no sense in us talking about the property until we know what the position of Niagara Falls is. I don't want to waste a lot of time talking about a property that's not feasible. And I don't know if $41,000 is feasible. Maybe it will be. When you referenced the email you read, referenced our building inspector, is that referring to the person that we hire to go out and look at the
Tom.
properties?
Yeah, but it was Tom
Right.
Fedison.
Right, that doesn't, in other words, they're not referencing the city's building
I
inspector.
thought-
They're not gonna go out and do a report for us or take a look at
I
it.
thought Morgan was
This-
referencing the city.
This, what she read me
Yeah.
was what Code Enforcement told her.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
they said
Morgan
our
was,
building
Yeah, I
inspector, so
think
they
Morgan-
mean
Well,
the city.
Morgan was recommending that before NORLIC obviously takes any action, that we send our guy out there to also take a look at it to make sure that's a good fit for us. That the ceiling's not, the roof's not completely
Yeah,
collapsed, it's
although-
not gonna be too much to take on.
Although it would seem obvious that the city building inspector would go look. For something like this, I suppose we would probably want ours to look.
Yes.
Because I think that we might get a more candid opinion. And it's not reference to the city of Niagara Falls, I'm saying we may get a more candid opinion if it's somebody that works with us directly. So we would want our agent to put eyes on that property. So we can do that, but we're not gonna do it until we know what the position is of the city regarding the back taxes. We need to know what they wanna do with it. So let Morgan know that by the next meeting, they should be prepared to talk about it.
121.
Now we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose another month and we have somebody that's looking to donate the property, but I don't know what else to do. We can't do anything today until we know what the city's plan is relative to the taxes and what the agreements are with the other municipalities. Oliver's, 715 Oliver, what property is that, Rob?
Big Daddies.
Oh, right, we should just put it on here.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddies.
Wait, what, I don't
Stand.
remember, was that a sporting goods store?
No, pizzeria,
Oh, pizzeria,
back in the day.
that would make sense.
People still talk about the sauce. I can't remember it, but everybody loved the sauce.
I mean, it's been out of business that long.
Yes.
I don't really have an update on this one, other than, we reached out to the interested buyer. I think there was a misconception that we would do a certain level of work there, and, it's just not really an option. So, and I had asked them to sit down and have a meeting with them, and that was a while ago, and I haven't really spoken to them in quite some time.
They were under the impression there's all kinds of municipal funding to help them.
Yeah.
I think that's- that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
So, and Rob, you and I can talk about this one after. And
Is this a candidate for demolition?
Partial. It's actually two
Oh,
properties.
there's a back part, right? Is this the one that has the back?
Mhm.
Okay.
A little partial would help. It's actually two properties, 713 and 715. They're, they cross the property line. And demolishing part of 713 would actually make 715 more valuable. The building is okay. It's beat up. It's beat up. The last time it was used as, I think they have 11 boarding rooms in it on the second and third floors. Niagara County would ship people over who they had stored for a little while. And it had to have been profitable, so I was surprised that they let it go.
Okay.
Just in that function.
Mhm.
All right, and then 1129 Niagara Avenue.
So that's the one that, you walked through that before.
Yes.
And we didn't want to commit to administering the CDBG grant provided by the city of Niagara Falls to us until we had an end user. We've met with a number of not-for-profits, and Power Niagara would like the property. And now I have a meeting set up with the city of Niagara Falls, I think for, I want to say maybe the second, I don't know, it's coming up, to understand, because, Matt was working on this, to understand the parameters of this grant. I mean, honestly, since Matt left, we've been trying to lead, myself, Jackie, and Amy, have been trying to get a handle on all this activity. So I don't know if we can really honestly, depending on how much work this is gonna take, I don't know if we're gonna be able to move forward with this project or not. So one of my questions is gonna be, maybe if we could get pass through and Empower could administer it, that might be a possibility, or maybe Empower just is the recipient of the grant. I'm not really sure, so I'll have more answers next month.
We don't have a fully executed grant agreement,
No,
but we do have ownership of the property.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. We don't have any attorney business, any other business? All right, I'll move to adjourn. Second by Mr. DiPaolo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's a good word, riveting.